You know something I was disappointed that you didn't mention?
What?
We passed 20,000 users in the system yesterday. How did you not mention that?
We've been growing so fast.
They grow up so fast.
It's just becoming a regular occurrence at this point, these milestones. But yeah, we have passed 20,000 users, and of course we couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you for that.
It's just a testament to what we're doing is in demand, where we launched this July 10th as beta, and the official launch was September 9th, and between July 10th and now 20,000 people have went in and registered, and unique users too. We do a really good job of making sure people only have one profile in the system.
Yeah, and I've noticed it's snowballed. I mean, the amount of users we were getting in July per day was a lot slower than the amount of users we're getting now, and I think part of that is, I do a lot of interviews, and I talk to, as a lot of you probably know, I've talked to you if you're one of the top traders. So, I talk to a lot of our traders, and one thing I really, really love is, we run a lot of ads and we do a lot on social media, but such a large majority of our users were referred by a friend. Such a large majority of users were, a friend told them how they either won a competition or, not even won a competition, but just had the opportunity to win a competition and, maybe learned a new skill or improved their strategy or learned a new strategy while trading on Bullrush. So the S&P 500, I believe on Wednesday, clinched a new fresh record amid GDP data. So at 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, the S&P 500 rose 0.5%, closing at a record of $5,743.73. The NASDAQ Composite gained 0.6%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose by 280 points or 0.7%. So,
yeah, that's really interesting too
in the market,
because with them lowering interest rates, I think the market was really trying to figure out which direction they wanted to go. Obviously, lowering interest rates means there's more money that can go into the market, but it also has the inverse effect of it could be seen as the market economy is slowing down, and so the economy is not doing as well, which ultimately, could be harmful or cause stocks to come off. And so it's just interesting to see how this played out over the last week, how the S&P actually rose to fresh highs, which is it's big news.
It's a huge.
I'll be curious to see how it continues into the election cycle and see what happens after the election. I think that'll probably be the next big move. Up until then, probably, lull along and not really have any major impact or volatility.
Yeah, I mean, so it was funny. I was waiting because, like I said, my car's in the shop. I was waiting for my Uber to go to work. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. But slight little fender bender.
It's nothing, just fender bender.
Of course, it wasn't my fault.
It's never is.
It's never my fault. So, but yeah, we don't need to go into that. Florida drivers. If anybody's ever been to Florida, you'll know Florida drivers are crazy. They're definitely crazy, but. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard, but two men from Miami and Los Angeles were just charged in a $230 million cryptocurrency scam.
Crypto bros.
Captain, we found crypto bro.
The crypto bros, yep. So in an indictment unsealed by the federal agency on Thursday, 20-year-old Malone Lam of Miami and 21-year-old Jendile Serrano of Los Angeles were charged with conspiracy to steal and launder over $230 million in cryptocurrency from a victim in Washington, D.C. Liam, a Singaporean citizen who went by the online moniker Anne Hathaway, great name.
You look like Anne Hathaway in Les Miserables.
And money signed, and Serrano, who used Versace God. I like how they put his @ there so we can follow him on Instagram. I think that's funny. Were arrested Wednesday night and appeared in U.S. District Court in Southern District of Florida. Blah, 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 blah.
That's interesting. So did they end up saying who they stole money? They just said from Washington, D.C.?
From somebody in Washington, D.C. So according to the indictment, Liam Serrano and others allegedly conspired to carry out crypto thefts and to launder the stolen cryptocurrencies through exchanges and mixing services. The conspirators would fraudulently gain access to the victims' cryptocurrency accounts and then transfer victim funds into their possession. So essentially what they were doing, and I read a different article when this first came out, essentially what they were doing is hacking in or gaining access to people's cryptocurrency accounts via Coinbase, Binance, those, and sending themselves the cryptocurrency, essentially.
Interesting.
Yes.
So what you're saying is two-factor authentication is really important.
Yeah, so when you see that skip two-factor authentication button on our website, I'd always think twice about using that.
There's a reason why we put the 2FA inside of there. We want people to have safe and secure wallets, and we didn't do it with a text message or an email because of the fear of getting SIM swapped or having your email hacked, which is why we actually do it through a Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator. And so, yeah, most people, if you're putting money in your Bullrush wallet, don't skip that step. It just really does help make it more secure, so your money's always there.
Yeah, one funny thing going back to the this crypto scam was I've actually seen these guys on social media. Now I'm just reading a little bit more of the article, and it reminded me I actually have seen these guys on social media before they got caught. So the way they actually did it, I'm reading through, is through VPNs and peel chains. So what they did, which a peel chain is where essentially, I may have $230 million, right? And I would send hundreds of transactions of like $100,000 to a bunch of smaller wallets, right? And then those wallets will send the funds back to another main account. So, through the blockchain, it gets kind of, it's just through another road. How kind of what people do with businesses in different states and stuff like that. They to protect themselves when they own a company, they essentially sent from the victim's wallet, the 230 million or however much it was at the time. They sent that through, it was 4,000 Bitcoin. So I'm assuming typically they probably did a Bitcoin a wallet or even smaller. So they probably sent it to 4,000 to 8,000 different smaller accounts, which they held there for a certain amount of time and then slowly sent it back to their main wallet accounts. That way it's very, very, very hard to trace, because now instead of
couldn't have been too hard, they got caught.
Yeah, they got caught, but it makes it harder than tracking one transaction to one wallet and then another wallet. Now you gotta pretty much create a roadmap of 4,000 to 8,000 different wallets there.
Yeah, lesson learned there is don't steal people's money.
So,
don't steal people's crypto.
And one of the ways
you will go to, especially here in the United States, you will go to jail for a very long time.
You will go to jail, and especially if you do that, don't buy 3 Lamborghinis. Don't go to Club Space in Miami.
But they're crypto bros, man. Come on.
Yeah, so the reason I saw that was I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I saw Crypto Bros breaks record in Miami club spending $150,000 on bottles.
And models.
And bottles and models. Yeah, they definitely had bottles and models. But yeah, it was just a whole thing where I saw that, and so I think that's one of the reasons they got caught, was they were very, very flashy with their spending and everything. So.
Tell her I'm rich and I'm good looking.
Yeah, don't steal. Moral of the story, don't steal from people.
It's interesting because you come across those stories quite a bit. I listened to a pretty famous podcaster and YouTube guy that goes into a lot of these scams. I'll give him a plug, CoffeeZilla.
Oh, yeah.
If you ever want to go listen to CoffeeZilla, his
great.
Stuff is fantastic. Where he really does a deep dive into it. I think he actually had an article on this as well, which is where it first popped up on my radar.